Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon. Throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25, 20. Derek Brooks all the way. There it is. The dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
How's it going, everybody? Liam Mitchell coming at you with another video. Today we got a Buccaneers-Vikings preview. A massive matchup coming up here in Week 14. Alongside me today on the show is Isaac Peterson, diehard Vikings fan. So, Isaac, thank you so much for coming on, man. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm just exhausted. I'm up here in Boise, Idaho. About 20 minutes out till midnight, but staying up for this, man.
You look like a Viking, man. Look at that beard.
Yeah, I know, right? Got the Viking tattoos. I got the beard going on. It's usually a little bit longer, but you got to trim it down.
You look like a Viking. So before we get into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Bucs Report. If you guys have not already, go check out bucsreport.com and be one of the 64,000 people who are following them on Facebook. Go follow them on all social platforms. They're the best in Buccaneers coverage. You will not regret going and following them. Thank you to Bucs Report. So, Isaac, do you mind if I call you Ike?
Yeah, man, go ahead. You've been calling me Ike for years. You know how it's going.
Yeah, me and Ike, we actually go way back. So, good friend of mine, big Vikings guy. I wanted to have him on. So, all right, Isaac, we got the Bucs and Vikings tomorrow, early slate. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman are going to be announcing the game. Like we said, big matchup here, big matchup. Vikings coming in at 6-6. I think they've won, 4 of their last 5 games or something like that?
Yeah, that's correct. Very close games. A couple of them have just been 1-point games. We had that horrible loss to the Cowboys. They just kind of went straight down the field, scored a touchdown with about a minute left. It was just probably one of our worst losses of the 5 games. But other than that, yeah, we're back to 500, which is great for the NFL.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think you guys are officially now the 7th seed in the NFC. I think you bumped back Arizona to that 8th spot. They've been struggling lately while you guys have been on an uphill climb. Meanwhile, the Bucs are sitting at 7-5. They're coming off 2 straight losses, but are coming off the bye. Are, for the most part, healthy. I think they're going to be missing Jamel Dean tomorrow. We'll get into that a little bit more later in this video, but for the most part, healthy. So you guys, on the other hand, are going to be missing Eric Kendricks, the quarterback of that defense right there in the middle. That's a big hit for you guys, is it not?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, just going through this whole offseason, thinking that we're going to have Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks. I mean, everyone kind of forgets about Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks were teammates at UCLA. And, you say Eric Kendricks is a quarterback of that defense. Well, Anthony Barr is about the same value as Eric Kendricks. So just missing him this year is already huge. And then just the fact that Eric Kendricks, during warm-ups last week, injured his calf is just it's a huge loss. I did not think that his injury would go on into this week.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I'm surprised Yannick Ngakoue didn't really work out there with the Vikings. I really thought he was going to be a stud for them.
Yeah, no, that was one of the main things that surprised me. I was super stoked when we got him because I know when he played for the Jags, he was a dominant defender. He was probably one of the main focal points. Obviously, you have Calais Campbell there. I think he's on the Ravens now.
Yeah, he's in Baltimore.
But in Ngakoue, he was really good. And then we just kind of hit this point where I think we're 1-4. We eventually just got rid of him. And I just felt like, oh, hey, here it comes. We're going to start tanking. Here goes the Vikings. We're going to start tanking. We're giving up on the season. We're giving up a Pro Bowler. In all honesty, he's a pretty good player. So, yeah, it's a little interesting, especially with the banged-up defensive line. With Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, no Danielle Hunter. I was about to say, talk about, guys like Anthony Barr. No Danielle Hunter. I mean, he's one of the best, most underrated defensive linemen in the league. So missing him that's crucial, and he's going to be out for the entire year. I mean, it looks right now. I mean, the Vikings have what I just checked, the 23rd ranked defense in the NFL. It's kind of a shell of itself, Mike Zimmer and those guys. So I'm hoping the Bucs can take advantage tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a surprise. Like, it's just so random. I mean, Daniil Hunter, he was only supposed to be out 4 games this season, and then once that fourth, fifth week came, news broke that he was having neck surgery and he was out for the whole year. We lost Everson Griffin to free agency over the offseason to the Cowboys. Everson Griffin's obviously now in the Detroit Lions. Not making much waves out there, but he was a pretty big part of our defense.
Yeah, man. So, let's get into the keys to victory. We're going to go over 3 keys to victory from each side. Ike, I'll ask you first. If you had to give me 3 keys to victory on why the Vikings are going to win this game, what's most important? Why do you think they're going to win this game? Give me 3 reasons.
Most important, I would say establishing that run game early and often. I know that the Buccaneers checked just a little while ago. They're the first number 1 ranked rushing defense. And, Dalvin Cook he's up there. He's right behind Derrick Henry in rushing yards. But, he's just scoring touchdowns after touchdowns after touchdowns. And I think Dalvin Cook up against your guys' defensive line and linebackers like Levante David and Devin White going to be huge. I mean, if you go back to 2017, it's 3 years ago, Dalvin Cook had 97 rushing yards and a touchdown, and we ended up beating the Buccaneers 34-17. So I think a big run game early and often, if we can, get Dalvin Cook churning, we'll be set to go. And I'm not sure on Alexander Madison's status. I think he might be out.
I think he's out tomorrow. I think he's out, and then I think Kyle Rudolph's doubtful. I think.
Yeah. But...
All right, 2 more keys here, man. Give me your reasons as to why you think the Vikings can win this game.
Man, another key to this game is going to be our cornerbacks for sure. Our cornerbacks are rookies. We lost Trey Waynes in the offseason. We lost Xavier Rhodes to the Colts in the offseason. So Zimmer has just brought in all these young, fresh rookies ready to play, and I think they are growing. So I think Dantzler and Gladney are going to need to find ways to stop Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And then on top of that, you throw in Antonio Brown. Like, Harrison Smith is going to need to hold the top on that one. Antonio Brown is a playmaker. I mean, I know he's just been starting to get integrated into the offense, but he can blow the top off of any defense. I mean, I know he's been out for about a year now, but, he's still a special talent in the league.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you there, man. These young corners for the Vikings, they got a lot to handle tomorrow. Tom Brady throwing to these guys, and I'm sure Harrison Smith's gonna have a lot to handle with Rob Gronkowski, and that's what you deal with when you deal with the Bucs. You deal with a lot of weapons, and it kind of just depends on the Bucs protecting Tom Brady is what it comes down to a lot. But we'll get into my keys here in a minute. Give me one more key, Isaac.
One more key. I'm gonna say we're gonna not only stay on top of our run game, we're going to need Justin Jefferson, another rookie player, to step up against your corners. I mean, I know there's Antonio Winfield Jr. The Vikings, hello. We've had a Winfield on our team, and he was pretty dang good. So we're going to need Justin Jefferson to at least get 100 yards receiving. Or, Adam Thielen, my boy. I mean, one of those two has to get past these tough Buccaneers defensive players. I think that's another strong key. I mean, I'll even throw in a 4th key for you. I think slowing down Tom Brady, we're not going to stop him. I'm going to be honest with you right now. We're not going to stop Tom Brady. He is the greatest to ever play the game. So the best that we can do for the 4th key, I'm just going to throw in there, is just slow down Tom Brady. Just make sure, get to him as fast as you can, because when he's pressured, the game's going to be a lot closer than it needs to be.
Yeah, all right, man. Yeah, I agree. Getting pressure on Tom Brady, it helps. It helps opposing defenses for sure. As for the Bucs, I mean, how are they going to square up against this Vikings team? What do they need to do? First and foremost, this team needs to start faster. They have started so unbelievably slow pretty much all year long. Even in the games when they blew out the Packers, they were down 10-0. Even in the game they blew out the Raiders, they were down 7-0. They were down 17-0 to the Chiefs last week, started slow against the Rams, got off to just a very slow start against the Chargers in a game they ended up winning. This team needs to start faster, and when they start fast enough, they'll be able to hopefully establish the run. And that's another thing that they need to get done is hand the ball off to Ronald Jones. When he's touching the football, he's having a fantastic season. They've got to give him the ball, start fast, establish the run, utilize these crossing routes, utilize the short pass game, get the ball out quick. Don't let the Vikings get pressure on you. Stop throwing the ball deep in third and manageable situations to no one. These just balls fluttering to nobody. It's not working. And then finally, on the defensive end of the defensive side of the ball, make Kirk Cousins beat you. This is the number one ranked rushing defense in the NFL. In my opinion, even more so than Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook has been the best running back in the NFL this season. And if anybody can stop him, it's the Buccaneers defense. They've proved it week in and week out over the past 2 seasons. Make him stop, make Kirk Cousins beat you, and make Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, that young rookie who's having a great season, be the ones to beat you. Put it on Kirk Cousins' shoulders. Do not let that beast of Dalvin Cook run it all over you and control the clock. We want the opposite thing to happen. We want Ronald Jones to be running it down your guys' throats, and we want him to be the one controlling the clock, not Dalvin Cook. Stop Dalvin Cook. Make Kirk Cousins beat you. And the key matchup I see in this game, the matchup I'm most looking forward to in this game, because I do believe the Bucs will be able to stop the run, is Carlton Davis on Adam Thielen. Carlton Davis had a really rough game a couple weeks ago against the Chiefs. I don't blame him. He was getting left out to dry by Todd Bowles and his defense, getting no help over the top. We weren't getting pressures on Patrick Mahomes, but he was getting shredded by Tyreek Hill. It was a really rough day for Carlton Davis. But you know what? I want to see him bounce back. And it's not an easy task. Adam Thielen is, I think, one of the top receivers in this league. So I'm really looking forward to that matchup. And I mentioned it earlier in the video with Jamel Dean possibly being out. It's time for Sean Murphy-Bunting to really step up. He's had some struggles this year, that's for sure, but he's got playmaking ability. He makes good plays on the ball. And, he's got a tough matchup with Justin Jefferson tomorrow, a couple young guys, first-year and second-year guys. These corners, if they can take those receivers out of the game, I think this is an easy win for the Bucs, because I really do think that Dalvin Cook is the guy that they need to focus on the most, and I do think he will be taken out of the game by this defense. And then Thielen and Jefferson are the ones. Make Kirk beat you. Don't let these guys beat you. I believe in the Bucs corners. I think they're going to bounce back this week. If you had to pick a matchup that you're most looking forward to seeing, or like what's an important matchup that you see for the Vikings when playing the Bucs?
I mean, I gotta say, man, it's our offensive line up against Jason Pierre-Paul and that defensive line. I feel like Cousins is playing out of his mind these last 5 games. Like, to be truthful, I hate Cousins at times, but when that line and he starts feeling pressure and he starts seeing ghosts, he'll throw it to whoever, and it's a cluster. Along with that is going to be Dalvin Cook and your middle linebackers. If our O-line blocks your defensive line and Cook can find a hole, he has to beat a stud like Levante David and Devin White. That's just what it comes down to. I mean, I know some players like Dozier has been integrated into our offensive line, and he's been struggling a little bit, but he's starting to prove himself these last few games. Because, like I said, he's been a little frustrating, but I would say my key matchup to see is how our offensive line handles the defensive pressure of the Buccaneers defense. Like I said, number one pass rushing.
Yeah, I think that's big in this game because, like I said, I really truly believe that this defense, better than anybody, will take Dalvin Cook out of the game. It's extremely hard to run on this team. And with him taken out, the pressure is put on Kirk Cousins, and we all know that he doesn't do the best under pressure. Without Dalvin Cook running the ball well and controlling the clock and taking that pressure off of Kirk, I do think turnovers will be created. And again, that's where I look at these corners to just really step up and have a good game. The DBs as a whole against two very good receivers that the Vikings have. So that's the key, man. Stop Dalvin Cook, put it on Kirk. What's your prediction for this game, man? What are you looking at score-wise?
Man, my prediction, I want to say that it's going to be a pretty good game. I feel like it's going to be a shootout. I'm hoping, being a Viking fan, I know it's your channel, but I'm hoping the Bucs start out slow. I'm hoping they start out slow because when Kirk feels comfortable in that pocket with a big lead, like 14-0, he's going to be making smarter plays, smarter decisions. So I would say my prediction is going to be 27-23 Vikings. I think the Vikings take this one. I'm very confident in this group. Tom Brady is a very scary player to play against. And, back when he was with the Patriots, we would only play him once every 8 years. That's kind of how the rotation of the schedule was.
Yeah.
But now that he's on the Buccaneers, I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be 27-23 Vikes.
Yeah, I love you, Ike. Looking at this game, we've lost 2 straight. We're coming off a bye week. We're pretty much healthy. I think we match up very well against the Vikings. This Vikings defense is a shell of itself. Against teams that haven't had very good defenses this year, we've shredded them offensively. And I do think the Bucs will take out their best player in Dalvin Cook. And I do think Kirk Cousins will struggle. I think Carlton Davis is going to bounce back. And I just think there's going to be some issues there for the Vikings on offense. And I do think the Bucs are going to go to work themselves offensively. For that reason, I'm making a pretty bold prediction, but by a pretty big margin. But I'm going to say the Bucs win this one 35-17.
That's very bold.
Oh, it's bold.
Very bold.
I'm sticking to it though. I think the Vikings, they've struggled this year. They're super banged up on defense. They have done better as of late. They gotten pretty darn lucky. But a win's a win in the NFL. But they had real close games against both Jacksonville and Carolina. They lost to Dallas. The Bucs are coming off a bye. I can't see Tom Brady losing 3 straight games. Like I said, taking out the Vikings' best player, I think, is a must, and it's going to happen. I'm giving the bold prediction. I'm going to say the Bucs win this 35-17 and get this to 8-5 on the season. So it's bold, but hey, I always say I'll eat my words. I have no problem eating my words, coming back on here and saying I was wrong, but I trust in my boys. I trust in the team, and hopefully we can get this win. Looking at the playoff picture, I'm looking at the playoff picture right now. I've been peeking at it while talking. We got Bucs at the 6th seed, Vikings at the 7th seed. If we win, the Bucs really, if they lose this game, the playoffs are looking, because, you'd have the tiebreaker loss to Minnesota, a tiebreaker loss to LA, the Rams, who actually are now leading in that division over the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Which is, believe it or not, kind of good for the Bucs because at least we're not losing a tiebreaker to Seattle. And then, of course, we're not at this point. The division's pretty much finished. The Bucs aren't going to be winning the division, so it depends on the wild card spot. And then, really, we did lose to the Bears too. The Bears, Rams, and if we were to lose to the Vikings, that's 3 key teams in the wild card race. Granted, I don't think the Bears are going to be making the playoffs anytime soon. They are
Let's hope not.
Dumpster fire right now. But if the Bucs can get this win, get to 8-5, they've got 3 more favorable matchups, 2 against Atlanta and then 1 at Detroit in Week 16 on a Saturday morning. They moved that game. So yeah, looking at the Vikings schedule, if they were to somehow win this game, that's a big statement game. They'd be sitting at 7-6. I think, that would push them to what, at least the 6th seed, and then they'd probably have a good chance of making the playoffs at that point, having won a tiebreaker over the Bucs.
Yeah, that's correct. I was just looking at the schedule the other day. We're above the Cardinals right now. We're winning that tiebreaker. I believe it's just NFC opponents or common opponents at that point. If we beat the Buccaneers, we will be that 6th seed. So we'll have that little gap between us and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are our biggest enemy right now. I mean, yeah, you had the Bears, you had the Lions, but we've proven to have beaten them earlier in the season. And like you were saying earlier in the video, yeah, we did have some close games to the Jags and the Panthers. But again, you can also like look back at it. It's kind of like a what if game. You know, we only lost by one to the Titans on last like 40-second drive by the Titans, and then we lost to the Seahawks to Russell Wilson on another like 45-second drive. So, you know, you can say, hey, we almost lost to this bad team. But again, we've almost beat 2 playoff teams. The Titans are going to be in the playoffs. I can tell you that right now. And so are the Seahawks. The Seahawks have Russell Wilson. The first, I think, 7 weeks of the season, Wilson was looking like the MVP. I mean, he's kind of fluttered down a little bit, but you know, he's still a solid quarterback. So like I said, yeah, we have obviously you guys. We're at Tampa. We're only home one more time this season. Obviously, we're making the 7th seed. We're not going to have a home playoff game. That's just how it works. 7th seed, no home playoff games. But we have Chicago. I believe that we can beat them. We had New Orleans, but I'm not sure if they're going to have the Saints back. Or not the Saints back. The Drew Brees with his 11 cracked ribs.
Yeah,
but again,
if I was Drew Brees, I'd be calling it a career. I hope so. I'm sick and tired of the Bucs having to play that man, killing us almost every time we play him. But
I mean, famous saying is any given Sunday, you don't know what's going to happen. We beat the Bucs tomorrow. That can be a huge confidence boost for a young defensive team. I mean, not really a defensive team, but a lot of young rookie players on that team are going to be wanting to get to that playoff spot. I mean, with that 7th seed, it's huge, and I feel like the Vikings have a pretty good shot at it.
It's any given Sunday in the NFL. They're 6-6 right now. Like you said, they could be even better with those tough losses against Tennessee and Seattle. This is like an old NFC Central matchup. This is probably the biggest matchup the Bucs and Vikings have played in a very long time. It's damn near a playoff game. So yeah. I cannot wait for it tomorrow. Let me know down below in the comments to the people watching this what you guys think the score will be, what you guys expect, and I cannot wait. I am really hoping I'm coming on and doing a review video with the Buccaneers as victors, sitting at 8-5. Isaac,
I'm hoping for the opposite. Let me tell you what.
Isaac, thank you again, my man, for coming on. I know this was kind of a last-second decision, and I appreciate you coming on. I know you're pretty gassed right now. I'm pretty tired as well. But thanks again, man. Thanks again for coming on, and maybe we'll see you in another one. Yeah, man. And a quick message for your fans. I think this is a really good channel. To be honest, I'm not trying to be biased, but it really is. Like, I kind of wish that someone had a Vikings channel similar to this. I mean, you have all the cool Buccaneer memorabilia behind you. One thing I don't know if your fans know, that signed autographed photo by John Gruden, that was in John Gruden's house right there. Yeah. So like I said, man, I just wish someone would create a Vikings page. I would watch that every day, but I recommend you guys smash that subscribe button and keep watching Liam Mitchell's videos. They're really interesting. I'm a huge Viking fan, but I still watch these videos almost every day. Thanks, Ike. Yeah, I got you, man. I appreciate that, my man. I really do. I appreciate all you guys that support me and watch these videos. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let's hope the Bucs can go get this win, and we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, man. School Vikes. Of course, Ike. Go Bucs.